I highly respect millennials that walk out of jobs or any inconvenience in life. I think this should be a more appreciated thing. Humans shouldn't be strong-armed into staying at a job or in a relationship that doesn't benefit them. I'm facing an issue now with my work, who is planning on moving me into a position I didn't apply for and that I don't have the certifications for, just because they think I'm a good worker. Very agreeable. And I will figure it out. Sorry, no, that's not okay with me. The position will make me unhappy. If I'm unhappy, I will leave without hesitation because I know I can find a job elsewhere with my experience and work ethic. I have no loyalty to a job that has no loyalty to me. I refuse to waste my time being unhappy at a job. I did that for 15 years. I approach relationships the same way. I see so many friends in unhappy relationships and I don't get why they don't just leave. It's very cut and dry for me. Happiness is my ultimate choice. Yes, my current job is always pushing me to do projects that I have no business doing. I'm not lazy or unwilling to help out where I can. But I have bad anxiety when it comes to public speaking / presenting. There is no way I could do it, and it was never part of the job description. I've already started looking elsewhere. Way too many managers take advantage of their staff, using their power to control instead of building a relationship of trust with open communication. It's shitty to tell someone they have to do something outside of their role without seeking their interest or making an offer. I can't do public speaking either, so I completely understand how you feel. I hope you're able to find a new job. Good luck, dude. I got my current job position as a hospital office janitor after working 66 years at the main hospital, and it's chill as F for the first 2 years. The first year, my supervisor was like, if I don't come by 8 PM, second shift 4-12:30, I'm not coming over. No complaints by anybody. Did all my work really quickly. The second year, he had an injury and had to leave, leaving me and others in other buildings with no supervisor for almost a year. This year around March, yeah, we got a stricter supervisor. However, he was kinda cool. I had to work much harder than usual, even cleaning things that never needed any attention. It sucked, but I respected him, especially since he kept up with our stock as much as possible. He even did employee appreciation dinners and bought 3 of us Black Panther keychains. May seem like no big deal, but from a supervisor, that's cool. Suddenly, one of my co-workers was talking about how he was too good of a supervisor, that others were kinda plotting behind his back. He ended up doing a double shift, 12 to 16 hours, for seemingly 4 months straight. It was pretty harsh on him. If my co-worker is right, he may have already left earlier this week, since I haven't seen him in the past 2 weeks with no notice. That's brutal. I hope he didn't get fucked too hard by the hospital and got moved into a good position. I'm 28 and remember being nervous about making even slight mistakes in my first job and early in my second. By the time I started at my current one as a warehouse operative, I was fully aware of being able to do this. I bumped heads with everyone from team leaders and managers in my first few months and was threatened with disciplinary action on 2 occasions when they had no real basis to do so, since they were asking me to do things that simply weren't my job. First time I just shrugged and told them that was fine, so go ahead. Second, I told them I'd walk at the first sign of disciplinary. Funny enough, I'm now warehouse supervisor and work on logistics. No disciplinary on my record. My first job I held for roughly 5 years, 16 to 18. It was dishwashing at a rather classy restaurant. Within 6 months I started cooking due to the assistant chef taking a liking to me. I pretty much cooked and bussed tables for most of my time there. Most of the time it was pretty smooth sailing / business as usual, except in the summer and holidays. Those were our busy times. I gotta admit, the extra tip money and the rush was fun in a way. But the only problem with that, even on nights where we weren't super busy, my boss would get super critical of everything. Simple things like making a salad I did really carefully and to perfection around her, because if things didn't look amazing, then she would complain and pretty much say get out of my way and then redo it herself. So then, to make her happy, I would do things slower and make sure they look super nice. Nope. Now I'm moving too slow. There was just no winning with her, and it made me super self-conscious about making any sort of mistakes. I felt like I always had to be doing perfection if she was around. And that, and a lot of micromanaging, was one of the main reasons that drove me to quit. So now, here I am, about 4 weeks out of that job, working security, sitting on my phone typing this out. I'm not as worried about making a mistake on this job, because the people are more laid back, and understanding that we are all humans. Food service is literally one of the hardest jobs I've ever worked. It's an entire field full of perfectionists. Source: former chef. Former Navy nuclear power program electronics technician instructor. That has got to be the second longest job title I ever saw. Took me about a month and a half to be able to rattle it off smoothly. Lol, what's the longest? Millennial here. I was the most loyal, hard-working employee. I'd go above and beyond. Work sick, tired, underpaid. I was just taken advantage of. Looking back, I wasted my time slaving for employers that never cared about my hard work. They were just making a ton of money off a guy willing to do 3 people's jobs. I'm 30 now. I'm exactly like Op's description. I just wish my body wasn't beat up now. At my first job out of college, I was totally overworked, and when I finally quit after the first year, they replaced my position with 4 people. It gave me some satisfaction knowing that I was actually doing a good job, and that my boss was terrible. Yes, a job I left 2 years ago still can't get 2 people to do what I've done alone. The most miserable 60 to 80 hours a week ever. I got hired on for a job that was previously 2 full-time employees. Then the employee at another location quit. I absorbed a 3rd full-time job remotely. Then they created a new role while doing a software switch that was supposed to be part-time. I absorbed it. And finally they found that management plate was too full and creating the schedule for the 30 field employees was too much. So they assigned it to me. Through all this, they gave me $2 more an hour. Someone else offered me another $2 hour for an easy small office. I offered to stay for a raise. They said no. Took that other job ASAP. They haven't been able to hire someone for more than a month. It's been 3 years. This is exactly why I left the ad industry. I worked for a company that had a team of incompetent people. I did the job of 3 people and saved the company over $200K in expenses that were being outsourced. When I asked for a raise due to the hard work and money saved, they told me that there wasn't money in the budget for a raise. Fuck that and F them. I think the normalization of walking away from bad jobs is a good thing for business competitiveness. If your job is good in general, your employees will stay. Otherwise, they'll walk out on you and leave you high and dry. There's no one else's fault but the bad business's fault. TBH, our generation is well aware of how bad the job market is and the insane expectations from employers beforehand for an applicant. I had this discussion with my SO as she's worked in a traditional career path versus my tradesman career path, and have noticed the stigma of employees who walk away from a job and how it's becoming a more common thing nowadays versus how it was during our parents' or grandparents' time. The days of employee loyalty are essentially over. People are starting to realize that as employees you are replaceable, and there's less and less of a reason for people to exceed expectations in the workplace. Some employers are getting it, but unfortunately most have not yet. And the most that haven't, I feel, will get it the hard way. Once employers stop doing pensions, employee loyalty stopped mattering. You have very little reason to stick at one job most of your life like my grandparents did. Absolutely, we, as workers, are not servants. My husband's old job used to call him in every time he had a day off. He worked 12-hour shifts, and they got pissed BC he couldn't come in twice. Once BC we were about 5.5 hours away visiting family for a few days, and the other time they called him 5 minutes. I'm serious. Not exaggerating. Before the shift was supposed to start, and we were out to dinner. Dressed up. It was date night. They wanted to write him up for it. Like really now? What job was it? It was a forklift position in manufacturing. F overtime culture in manufacturing jobs. And this is why I would be in favor of much stricter labor laws. F the capitalism. Humans come first. As a man in my 30s, I admire it too. I wish I had done it more. Never settle. If it doesn't feel right, if it doesn't feel good, get the F out of it. You only have one existence to live, and that existence belongs to you. Your 20s goes by fast, and before you know it you are 30, and then 40, and things aren't physically and mentally as easy to do anymore. Health issues start up. Your chances to have a family of your own disappear slowly, and you wake up one day realizing you've been cucked by your bosses and employers who used you like a worthless wage slave to fund a life and family of their own, while you're nothing but an old decrepit single piece of S with only yourself left in this world. God, you just made me want to revolt. There's nothing to really revolt against, just don't let yourself be complacent with shitty jobs. Well, I phrased it very jokingly, but I really think democracy should be implemented in the workplace. Our country brags about our government being democratic and free, yet for some fucked up reason, we allow our places of business to operate like miniature fascist regimes. I've never really thought of it in these exact terms, but you're right. What you're asking for is socialism basically. I kind of agree in a way. I do think there are a lot of workplaces in which employees are treated poorly / pushed beyond what their contract asks, etc. And we are conditioned to think that is okay. That oh well, we just deal with it. Others have it worse. Sometimes the only recourse is to take a stand against what you feel is not right for you. That being said, I have known people who walked out of literally every job for the slightest thing that annoys them. Begging the question, what do they actually want out of a job? Companies will throw away employees if it's mildly convenient for them. Loyalty is a two-way street. Take the current situation here in the UK. As soon as companies needed to foot the bill for furlough pay, we have seen multiple job cuts and redundancies. Not for the higher ups who just got pay rises though. People are too accepting of being taken advantage of sometimes. That one gets me the most. Oh, we had losses and need to cut staff, but somehow leadership also deserve their pay increases, because needing to cut staff definitely isn't a failure on their part, but cutting staff is so hard, and I did such a great job at it that I should get paid more. Duh. This has stuck with me. If you died today, your employer will have a job opening posted before your funeral. Some Redditor Michael Scott. Couple years ago, my dad was sick in the hospital for a couple weeks and his employer called my mom and told her they terminated his job and he would have his health insurance till the end of the month. He had worked there for 30+ years.